All right, time for pattern predictions. A look at the next 2 weeks of weather. Meteorologist Danielle Noyce here. This is going to take you into the third week of February. And yes, you can get the 2-week forecast right in our free weather app for your exact location. But this is the why behind the forecast, what you may see change a little bit in the app as we get closer in time. So let's start with what we do so often, the height to 500 millibars, how high you need to go in the atmosphere before you hit that pressure. Now, the blues, the purples indicating colder than average temperatures through a layer of the atmosphere, and the yellows and oranges representing some warmth. Now, the last couple of pattern predictions, we've had some real deep Arctic air, these pieces of the polar vortex that have come in end of January, beginning of February. We do not have that this time around. We do have a dip, a trough into the west coast, a ridge building into the central United States, but we are still kind of on that boundary of some troughiness, some colder air that's pooled up in eastern Canada. It is not as intense at all compared to what we had for the end of January and start of February, and there's no real organization to the polar vortex. The cold is kind of disjointed here to our north. So bottom line, when you put the temperature difference from normal on the map, since we are right on the edge of kind of that cool and the warmth battling back, that's exactly what you see here in New England, slightly cooler than average days. Then we get back into slightly warmer than average days. Oh, watch this. Then we get back into slightly cooler than average days by a few degrees. Then we get back into slightly warmer than average days. So there's a near seasonable pattern the next couple of weeks, not nearly as cold as we've been. Northern New England will be slightly warmer than average. Then southern New England will, with temperatures, keep in mind for this time of the year, typically in the upper 30s. And I think we're going to fluctuate kind of right around that with overnight lows in the 20s. There's some big warmth that looks like it'll build in through like the 20th, 22nd time frame, but I think some of that gets washed out as it comes east. Again, we're just right on that boundary, and you'll see that in the jet stream. The jet stream, river of air high in the sky, steers storms and acts like a thermostat. So when you get a big dip, we're on the colder side, the northern side, but that's not the case. We've got the jet stream pretty much right over New England. It comes down and dips briefly, but we get multiple disturbances to track along it as well. Where's the jet stream? Still positioned really from the Great Lakes into New England for the 17th and 18th. A little stronger jet right over us as we head into the 20th, 21st. And then we go, yes, it goes north a little bit, comes back south. So this tells me that yes, there will be multiple disturbances to watch. They may be fairly quick hitting as they come on by, but it will be a bit of an unsettled stretch here for the next couple of weeks. But the temperatures are going to be near average, again, fluctuating a little bit. Remember last pattern predictions, we had to go sub-zero on some of these. So generally in the 30s to right around 40, maybe a little bump up as we head into like the 17th, 18th time frame. Keep in mind this is a New England wide average, so it'll be a little cooler north, a little milder south, and then generally running in the low to mid 30s, which is slightly cooler than average for this time of the year. Similarly, the overnight lows, we will see some teens, so it does get cold, but not single digits, not sub-zero, although northern New England will be a little bit colder as we head into Friday morning, and then again over the course of this weekend, back up into the 20s, pretty seasonable stretch, and then teens towards the end of the 2-week period. What's interesting, I think, is the percent chance of precipitation, because there are some signs, particularly as we head in towards the second week, so like the 18th through the 24th, where every day it's kind of elevated. And that's what I was talking about the jet stream being nearby and every couple of days likely having to watch a disturbance. Couple things you'll notice though is we do bump it up on Friday. It's generally late on Friday night into Saturday with a disturbance coming out of eastern Canada. And then it gets bumped up again on Monday. There'll be a system to our south and west we'll have to watch. And then the middle part of next week, it bumps up. And then it stays again relatively elevated, although there are some signs that around the 20th, late into the 21st, there may be a storm system as well. So in this type of pattern, outside of, let's say, 2 to 3 days, that's when at least the confidence goes down. So bottom line is we will have to watch that week in particular for multiple disturbances to come by. In terms of what that means for snowfall amounts, there's actually fairly good agreement that the West Coast finally getting into some decent snow with above average precipitation over this stretch and measuring snow in feet, particularly from the Intermountain West and stretching into the Rockies. For us here at home, there's also decent agreement that northern New England picks up a foot and a half of snow with some lower totals the farther south you come, which actually plays off of Matt's February monthly forecast when there's actually below average precipitation for the month, but we end up near actually above average in terms of snowfall amounts. So lots to watch bottom line in the coming weeks. You can watch us, by the way, on TV. So open up the YouTube app on your smart TV and search 1 Degree Outside Network. We're on 24/7. New England's only and first weather network, always at 1degreeoutside.live as well. And just tap the home screen of our app. Also our merchandise, hats, t-shirts, scarves, umbrellas, you name it, all at swag.1degreeoutside.com.